Kelly Leahy with the Software Business Group at Xerox, here to answer your top how-to questions about building workflows in FreeFlow Core. Today I'm going to show you how to build a generic books workflow that'll handle books of all sizes and page counts, but allows FreeFlow Core to automatically choose the appropriate stock size and layout all automatically. Let me show you how.
So in order to do that, we're going to first log into our FreeFlow Core system as an administrator so that we're able to edit and build workflows. And we're going to go right over to the Workflow Setup tab and click the green plus add sign. And I'm going to go ahead and name this a generic book. Okay. So like many of the workflows that we've built in FreeFlow Core, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a Preflight. This happens to be a basic Preflight preset that we already have created that's checking for fonts not embedded and image and grayscale resolution thresholds. And next, we're going to go ahead and create that primary and secondary imposition. Now, one way to do this in FreeFlow Core would be to simply have your first imposition doing the signature book, and then bring in a second imposition to do this step and repeat. But I'm sure that you have noticed within FreeFlow Core, since you've been playing around with it, that we actually have within the imposition component the primary and secondary stages that you can do within the one component. And actually you can do up to 3 stages of an imposition. For the workflow that we're going to build today, though, we're just going to simply do a 2-stage imposition. Now, a quick reminder, the left side of the screen here in the imposition component is only a visual representation of what the imposition might do with the characteristics of an incoming PDF. So you would basically just simulate, the page size of the incoming PDF, if it's, simplex or duplex, does it have bleed or no bleed? And in this case, we're going to be doing a signature booklet. Leaving this within 8.5 by 11 is fine. So if we had a 1-up 8.5 by 11, we might be making a 11 by 17 or 12 by 18 signature booklet fold. So the first step that we're going to do over here is we're going to go ahead and name this imposition. And I'm going to name it generic book step and repeat. And I gave it this name because our primary stage is going to create our signature booklet, and our secondary imposition stage is actually going to go ahead and do the step and repeat. So I'll show you how to set that up. So what we're going to do is, unlike what we typically do for imposition by choosing a specific press sheet size, in this 2-stage imposition, I'm going to go ahead and actually turn the press sheet size to automatic. And I'm not going to select any of the size options here. And this will make sense in a minute. So I'm going to leave the size options alone. And you can see here the orientation is grayed out and it's going to be automatic. We're doing a signature booklet, so we're going to keep 2-sided. On the layout tab, we're going to choose signature. Okay, and if we scroll down a little bit, by default we're going to be fixed rows and columns, and for a typical booklet fold that would be 1 row 2 columns as being displayed over here. If you wanted to do a calendar fold, that would be the 2 rows 1 column, but we're going to keep this at 1 rows 2 column. We'll go ahead and we're going to impose this relative to the trim box, and we don't need to really check any of the other options below. We'll set up the gutter, and I'm going to actually give a uniform gutter of a 1/2 inch all the way around. Okay, and then we're going to add our cut marks, and those are just going to be placement area of the PDF trim box. So now look what happened over here. By allowing this size option to float, by default, the dimensions of the document in combination with the layout and the gutters has become the new press sheet size. So this is the press sheet that is needed to create our signature booklet that's going to be used in the secondary stage for our step and repeat layout. So I think that this is going to make sense as we continue to move forward. So since the primary stage is set up, I'm going to go ahead and select secondary stage. And I also noticed that I have a little typo here. Let me get rid of that. So in the secondary stage, now we're going to choose an automatic press sheet size again, but we're going to pick the stocks that are appropriate for producing our signature booklets. Now this is going to maybe be a preference based on what you all do in your own production environments, but what you can do here is go down and say, all right, I'm going to choose an automatic press sheet size, and on my iGen, I'm going to say that it's appropriate to run signature books on 12 by 18. How about all of those oversized iGen sheet sizes? So 14.33 by 22 and a half, 20 and a half, and also 26. And so now, if you're running books that are small enough to do a step and repeat on any of these oversized sheet sizes, that will happen automatically with the workflow that we're building. So if we scroll down, we're going to again leave this at an automatic orientation and two-sided layout. When we go to the layout tab, we are going to choose repeated for step and repeat. In this case, for rows and columns, we're going to go automatic rows and columns. Okay, and you can see over here stuff starting to show up. We're going to still leave this as imposed relative to the trim box. We don't have to turn on any of these other options down below unless you have a specific requirement. The gutters, we also don't have to play with because we accommodated the gutters, the uniform gutters, in the first stage of the imposition. And our cut marks are also taken care of in that stage as well. So this workflow is ready to be tested. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And don't forget to click save to save the workflow before we test it. So we have our Preflight check, and then we have our two-stage imposition creating a press sheet size for a signature booklet that will then do a step and repeat if it is able to, based on the press sheet sizes that we've chosen are appropriate for signature booklets. So I'm going to go here back over to the desktop, and in the Easy Starts file folder, we have these resources that are available to you. These are all demo jobs, and right here we have 4 booklet jobs. I'll open these so that we can take a quick look at them. Alright, so we have 4 different books, all different sizes. Okay, this one's 8.5 by 11, this one's a square, basically an 8 by 8. Here's a 7 by 8.5, and this one is another square, it's basically a 7.5 by 7.5. So let me close this down, and I'll go back to FreeFlow Core, and I'm going to go ahead here to submit job. And remember, a good tip is to always make sure that your workflow destination, you've chosen that first. Ours in this case is already picked up, and I'm going to go ahead and drag our test documents into the workflow. You can see they're all uploading. Once those are done, I'm going to just simply hit submit. It's not totally showing here, but there it is. You can see the green. Submit that. Here comes our jobs. And we can go ahead and hit refresh to see if they've finished up. It looks like they have. They've moved over to the completed jobs queue. And here's our job. I'm going to click that little caret to the drop down. There's our 4 books that we submitted. If we scroll over to the I, that's our information tab where we can look at the job properties, and the document always represents the PDF after it's processed through its FreeFlow Core workflow. So let's open this first one. Okay, oh, right off the bat we had one job that went 3 up on a 14.33 by 26.5 iGen sheet size. Okay. The next job is the 8.5 by 11 PDF file that went did a signature book on 12 by 18. And here is another one that laid out on a 12 by 18. Now, if we had chosen ledger size, right, 11 by 17 or 8.5 by 14, the workflow would have chosen maybe a more appropriate stock size so we didn't have so much waste. So you just, again, what makes sense in your shop, and you choose those automatic paper stocks. And our last booklet is also another 3 up step and repeat. This one was on a little bit of a different iGen sheet size, but that's how we have built a workflow to do a signature book layout, and then stage 2 let us choose an automatic step and repeat when applicable. And the only thing left to do, guys, is to go ahead and add your printer to the end of the workflow, and you're ready to go.
Find out how FreeFlow Core can solve your business challenges by scheduling a live demo with my team at www.xerox.com/automate. Thanks for watching.